Last time, I promised you another everyday machine you've carried 1,000 times and never really looked inside. And this one's already in your hand. Your phone. You unlock it 100 times a day without a thought. But here's what almost nobody realizes. That phone is quietly the most heavily guarded object you own, more fortified than your front door. Because hidden inside it is a vault so locked down that the company that built your phone cannot open it. And that's not a figure of speech. In 2016, the FBI had a locked iPhone, wanted the data inside, and took Apple to court to force it open. Apple's answer was essentially, we can't. We built it so that even we don't hold the key. So sit with that for a second, because it sets up a real mystery. If there's a vault inside your phone that even Apple or Google can't crack open, then how are thieves walking off with people's phones and emptying their bank accounts minutes later? Because that is really happening. And here's the twist that makes this worth your time. They aren't breaking the vault. They never even touch it. They stroll in through the front gate using something you do in public 100 times a day without thinking. By the end, you'll understand how the fortress works, how the break-in works, and the 1-minute fix that shuts the gate. No hype, no doom, just how it works. Let's open it up.
So let's meet the fortress. The first surprise is that there isn't one computer inside your phone. There are two. The big one is what you think of as the phone. It runs the apps, the browser, everything you tap on. And here's the uncomfortable truth. That main computer can be hacked. Apps have bugs, websites have traps. The part that does everything is also the part most exposed to the world. So the engineers did something clever. They built a second, much smaller computer right beside it, with exactly one job: guard the secrets. On an iPhone, it's called the Secure Enclave. On a Google Pixel, there's a chip called the Titan M2. Picture a sealed strong room bolted onto the side of the main building. Its own tiny processor, its own memory, its own locked door. Built so that even if hackers completely take over the main computer, they still can't get inside. And here's what gives that vault its power. When the chip is manufactured, a secret number is burned permanently into the silicon itself, a birth key. And on modern Apple chips, that number is generated inside the chip, by the chip, during manufacturing. Never shown to a human, never written down, never sent to Apple. It can't be read out or copied later. It's fused into the hardware like a fingerprint pressed into wet concrete, and every lock in your phone is ultimately tied to it. Because nobody outside the chip has ever seen it. Not Apple, not its factories. There's no master copy sitting in a drawer somewhere. That's what people mean when they say the maker doesn't hold your keys. They built a vault, then threw away their own copy. But what's actually inside it? That's where it gets cool.
When you set up Face ID or a fingerprint, it feels like your phone snaps a picture of you and keeps it. It doesn't. And this is one of the most misunderstood things in all of phone tech. Your phone does not store a photo of your face or an image of your fingerprint. What it does is measure your face or finger and boil it down into a kind of mathematical sketch, a long string of numbers describing the shape. And it's a one-way street. You can make the sketch from your face, but you can't rebuild your face from the sketch because the fine detail you'd need is deliberately thrown away. So even if someone stole that data, they couldn't reconstruct your actual fingerprint. And where does the sketch live? Inside the strong room, inside the Secure Enclave. It never leaves the chip. It's never uploaded to Apple, never in your iCloud, never in your backups. So here's how an unlock really works, and it's beautifully simple. You glance at your phone, the camera takes a fresh reading and hands it to the strong room. The strong room compares it to the sealed sketch, all on its own, in secret. And then it does not hand back your face data. It hands back a single yes or no. Match or no match. That's it. The apps, even the operating system, never see your face. They just get told, yep, it's her, unlock. It's a doorman who checks your ID behind a closed door and only ever calls out, let them in or keep them out. And that doorman is strict. The odds of a random stranger's face unlocking your phone are less than 1 in a million. For a fingerprint, less than 1 in 50,000. So your face is safe, sealed, and can't be lifted. Which raises an obvious question. If the face is this locked down, why does your phone still ask for a passcode at all?
Here's the twist, and it's the heart of the whole video. We think of the passcode as the backup, the thing you type when Face ID fails, the annoying fallback. It's exactly the opposite. Your passcode is the real key. Your face is just the shortcut. Remember that secret birth key sealed in the chip? On its own, it isn't enough to unlock your data. The phone mixes the birth key together with your passcode to build the master key that actually unscrambles your files, which means that master key doesn't fully exist until you type your passcode. Your face never makes it. Your face just tells the strong room, okay, it's really me. Go ahead and use the key you already worked out. The face is a convenient shortcut, so you don't type your passcode 200 times a day. But the passcode is what the whole lock is built from. And that's exactly why your phone insists on the passcode at certain moments, no matter how good your Face ID is. When you first restart it, when it's been locked for a couple of days, after a few failed scans, or anytime you want to change the passcode or add a new face. In those moments, the shortcut isn't trusted, so it demands the real key. Now, setting that passcode also quietly switches on the thing that protects everything: encryption. And encryption just means scrambling your files into total gibberish, so that without the right key, they're meaningless noise. No key, no unscrambling. And here's the beautiful part. Because the master key needs both the sealed birth key and your passcode, and the birth key only works inside that one physical chip, nobody can copy your locked phone onto a supercomputer and guess 1 million passcodes a second. Every single guess has to happen on your actual phone one at a time. And the chip is deliberately tuned so each guess takes roughly 80 milliseconds, a tiny sliver of a second. That adds up fast. A strong passcode would take years to grind through. Guess wrong too many times and the phone piles on longer and longer delays. And if you've switched it on, it wipes itself completely after 10 wrong tries. So the passcode isn't the weak fallback, it's the foundation the whole fortress stands on.
So let's imagine the worst case. A stranger swipes your phone right off the table. It's locked, they don't know your passcode. What can they actually do with it? Honestly, almost nothing. It's a beautiful, expensive brick. They can't read your data, it's encrypted, scrambled into noise, and the key doesn't exist without your passcode. They can't steal your fingerprint or your face, only that one-way sketch exists and it never leaves the chip. They can't rip out the storage and read it in another machine because your files are tied to that phone's sealed birth key. Anywhere else, they're just gibberish. They can't sit there guessing your passcode quickly because every guess crawls through the phone itself, and too many wrong tries locks it up or wipes it. And here's the big one. They can't take it to Apple or Google and have it opened because the makers built it so they don't hold your key. That's what that 2016 standoff really showed. The FBI had a locked phone and every resource in the world, and the manufacturer genuinely could not hand over the data. In the end, the FBI didn't get in through Apple at all. They reportedly paid a specialist firm well over $1 million to find a flaw and break in a different way. And I want to be honest with you there, not sell you a fairy tale. This vault is not magically unbreakable. There are specialized forensic tools, the kind used by law enforcement and governments, that have at times found bugs in a phone's software and pried locked phones open. But they cost a fortune, they rely on flaws that get patched and closed with every update, and they belong to the world of spy agencies and criminal investigations, not the pocket of the person who grabbed your phone at the bar. For an ordinary thief, a locked phone with an unknown passcode really is a dead end. So the wall holds, the fortress works, which brings us right back to the mystery. If a thief can't crack any of this, how on earth are they getting in and draining accounts? Let's answer that.
Here's the answer, and it's almost insultingly simple. They don't crack the vault. They get your passcode. And the easiest way to get someone's passcode isn't hacking, it's watching them type it. In 2023, 2 Wall Street Journal reporters, Joanna Stern and Nicole Nguyen, documented a whole wave of thefts across at least 9 American cities: New York, Chicago, Boston, New Orleans, and more. And the method was the same every time, and low-tech to the point of being funny. The thief hangs around a bar or a crowd or a train, somewhere you're relaxed and distracted, and watches over your shoulder as you tap in your passcode. Just those few digits. Maybe they film it, maybe they chat you up and ask you to open something on your phone. Then, once they've got the code, they simply take the phone, snatch it, and walk. And that's the moment the entire fortress becomes irrelevant. Because look at what they're holding now. Your phone and your passcode. The two things the master key is built from. All that brilliant engineering, the sealed chip, the 1 in a million face scan, the encryption, none of it matters anymore because they didn't defeat any of it. They've become the one person in the world it was designed to let in. They have the real key. Your face never mattered. The passcode was always the thing. And the fortress, faithfully, does exactly what it was built to do. It opens right up. The wall was never breached. The thief just walked through the front gate with the owner's own key. 4 digits they watched you type in public. So what can they actually do in the next few minutes? That's where it turns genuinely scary. So let's walk through it calmly.
Once a thief has your unlocked phone and your passcode, that passcode becomes a skeleton key to your entire life. And here's the cruel part. They can turn it against you in just a few minutes, all from the settings. Step 1, and it's the vicious one, they change your account password, your Apple ID or your Google account. On the phone, the passcode is often all it takes to reset it. So in a few taps, they've locked you out of your own account. Step 2, they add their own face or fingerprint. So from now on, the phone opens for them instantly. Step 3, they switch off Find My or Find My device, so you can't track the phone and you can't remotely wipe it. There goes your emergency brake. And step 4, the payday. They pay with your cards and open your banking and finance apps. And here's the trap. Many of those apps, when your face doesn't match, fall back to the device passcode, which they have. So the passcode doesn't just unlock the phone, it reopens the whole chain of trust behind it. And there's one final, genuinely heartbreaking move the journal reported. After changing the account password, some thieves set what's called a recovery key, a long secret code that then becomes required to ever get back in. The real owner doesn't have it. The thief invented it. And at that point, people were locked out of their own accounts, their photos, their messages, years of their life, for good. Now, I know that's a lot, so take a breath, because I promised you this ends well. Every single thing I just described comes down to one weakness. Somebody learned your passcode, which means it's fixable. And before the fix, let's make sure our Android friends aren't left out, because they're playing the exact same game. If you're on Android, everything we've said still holds. The names just change. Google's Pixel phones have that separate security chip we mentioned, the Titan M2. It's the same idea as the Secure Enclave, a tamper-resistant little vault walled off from the main computer that holds the keys. And more broadly, Android phones protect their keys in what's called a trusted execution environment. Think of it as a sealed-off secure room running inside the main chip. And on the better phones, in a fully separate security chip, the same kind of design as Apple's. The details differ brand to brand, but the principle is identical. The keys live somewhere the normal phone software simply cannot reach, and the actual unlocking happens inside that sealed space, so the key never has to come out into the open. And here's the part that matters most for us. The Titan chip will only hand over the keys when you enter the correct PIN or pattern or password. So, you already know where this is going. On Android 2, the root of the whole thing is the code you type. The chip is the fortress, the PIN is the key, and a PIN watched over your shoulder is just as good to a thief as a passcode. Same fortress, same weak point, same fix. So let's get to that fix, because it's quick, it's free, and it genuinely works. Okay, here's how you shut the gate, and none of it is paranoid or difficult. Fix number 1, and it's the big one. Use a longer, stronger passcode. Most people use 6 digits, but you can switch to a proper password, letters and numbers mixed together, and both iPhones and Androids let you do this in the settings. Why does it help so much? 2 reasons. A long jumble of letters is far, far harder for someone to catch over your shoulder than 4 or 6 taps, and it's dramatically harder to grind through by guessing. This one change is the single highest value thing you can do, and it takes about a minute. Fix number 2 is just a habit. Guard your passcode in public. The whole point of Face ID and fingerprints is that you almost never need to type the code, so lean on them. And on the rare times you do type your passcode out, in a bar or on a train, cup your other hand over the screen, the way you would at a cash machine. Fix number 3, if you're on an iPhone, and this one is powerful, turn on a feature called Stolen Device Protection. It arrived in a software update in early 2024, so make sure your phone is up to date, then look for it in your settings. Here's what it does. When your phone is somewhere unfamiliar, away from home or work, it stops accepting the passcode for the really sensitive stuff and demands your actual face or fingerprint instead. And for the truly dangerous actions, like changing your account password or switching off Find My, it forces a wait, roughly an hour, and then a second face scan. That completely breaks the thief's grab and reset routine. Even with your passcode, they can't instantly hijack your account, and by the time the delay is up, you've reported the phone gone. Android has its own growing set of theft protections. Remote locking, theft detection, Find My device, all worth switching on. And on any phone, keep Find My or Find My device turned on, and know how to log in from another device to lock or erase yours. That's your safety net if the phone ever actually disappears.
So let's put the phone back together, because look how much you understand now. That vague, anxious feeling of, is my phone actually secure? You can set it down, because the honest answer is, your phone is one of the best defended things you will ever own. There really is a vault inside it, a separate, sealed chip with a secret key burned in at birth. A key so private that even the company that made the phone deliberately doesn't keep a copy. Your face and your fingerprint are locked in that vault as a one-way sketch that never leaves and can never be lifted. Your files are scrambled into gibberish that only your key can unlock, and every guess at that key has to crawl through your one physical chip, slowly, one at a time. The wall is genuinely, brilliantly strong. And the mystery we opened with, how thieves still get in, turned out not to be a hole in the wall at all. It's the front gate. They don't break the fortress, they get you to hand over the key, usually just by watching you type it. Which is the best possible news, because it means the fix is entirely in your hands. A stronger passcode, a hand cupped over the screen, and one setting switched on. The vault takes care of itself. You just guard the key. Now, one thread I left dangling on purpose. This whole time, I told you your face unlocks your phone. But I never told you how your phone actually sees your face, and it is genuinely wild, because it works in total darkness, lights off when you can't even see your own hand. How? Your phone quietly fires around 30,000 invisible dots at your face every single time you glance at it, and reads the pattern they make. That's next time. Same curiosity, no hype, no doom, just how it works. If this was useful, subscribe, and send it to the one person in your life who still uses 4 digits and taps them in front of everybody. You might just save their whole account. See you in the next one.